Hi there, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing with you my whole wheat bread recipe. Let's go over the ingredients list. 1 3/8 cups of lukewarm water, 1 tablespoon of active dry or instant yeast, 1/6 of a cup of honey, 1 tablespoon of molasses. If you don't have it, you can add an extra tablespoon of honey. 1/6 of a cup of neutral flavor oil, half a tablespoon of salt, and 3.5 to 4 cups of 100% whole wheat flour. I have the water at 110 degrees. I'm going to add the honey and the yeast and gently mix it. Let it sit for a few minutes until it's foamy on top and you can really smell it. Now that the yeast is ready, I'm going to add it to the bowl of a stand mixer. I'm going to add the molasses. If you don't have molasses, you can add 1 tablespoon of honey instead, but the molasses really add like a caramel color to the bread. And add the oil as well. Then with the dough hook attachment, mix on low for about 30 seconds. Now that I'm ready to add the flour, I'm gonna add it in 3 additions. So I'm going to add about 1 cup of flour and let it mix for about 30 seconds to a minute to make sure it's incorporating completely. After about a minute, I make sure to scrape the bottom of the bowl to make sure all the flour is getting well incorporated. And then I add another cup to a cup and a half of flour and let it mix for another 30 seconds to a minute. Now I'm going to add the salt and the rest of the flour. So at this point I have added 3.5 cups of flour, and I'm going to set a timer for 6 minutes and then I'll see if the dough needs additional flour. After 6 minutes, you can see that the dough sticks a little bit to the spatula, so I'm gonna add about a 1/4 cup of flour and mix for another minute. And this is what you want to see, that the dough starts getting together in a ball and pulls away from the bowl of the stand mixer. Remember, the dough needs to be a little bit tacky but not sticky. If it's still sticky, you can add a little bit more flour and mix again until you reach the desired consistency. Transfer the dough to a lightly greased bowl and spray a little bit of oil on the top and let it sit there for about 45 minutes to an hour until it doubles in size. Now that the dough has doubled in size, I'm going to transfer it to the counter and just flatten that into a rectangle about the width of my loaf pan. And I'm going to lightly spray the pan and carefully roll the dough into a loaf, pinching the ends together, and then transfer the loaf into the pan with the seam side down. Cover loosely with a towel and let it rise again until it's about 1 inch above the rim of the pan. Remember, the second rise always happens faster than the first one. When it has risen halfway, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Let it finish rising until the oven comes to temperature. Bake for 35 to 40 minutes until it's golden brown. The bread is ready now. It baked for 35 minutes. So I'm going to let it sit in the pan for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take it out of the pan and let it sit in the cooling rack for about 2 hours to cool completely. My bread has cooled down now, so let me cut into it and show you the inside. The color looks amazing because of the molasses, and the crumb itself is really soft even though it's 100% whole wheat. It is a little bit more dense than white bread, but that is expected because of the flour, and it tastes delicious. I hope you give this recipe a try, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!